Hi, everybody, and welcome back to Tapman's Teachings. Today we are going to be talking about a crazy story. We're going to talk about the white primary towards the end of the presentation, but we're going to get things started with the 1946 governor's race. And if you are one of those people like me who absolutely love the drama that you can find in history, then today's story is for you. So let's go. All right. So the 1946 governor's race is actually one of the most embarrassing stories in Georgia's history. It's known as the Three Governors Controversy, and it made Georgia a laughingstock nationwide. And mainly because eventually the Supreme Court had to get involved. But let's keep it moving and talk about the story. And then, of course, this story is really sad because the election led to a series of segregationist governors who ended some of the progressive reforms made by Governor Ellis Arnold. So we kind of see some regression on the civil rights end because of this. So here are your three governors involved in Georgia's Three Governors Controversy. You have Ellis Arnold, you have Herman Talmadge, and Melvin Thompson. Now, kind of like the name implies, there were essentially three people who claimed to be governor at the time of the 1946 governor's race. So initially, Eugene Talmadge was elected. So he won the election, but unfortunately, he died before taking office. And a lot of Talmadge supporters actually thought that this was going to happen because his health wasn't very good to begin with. And so they discovered on a past law that the General Assembly would have the power to select the second or third leading person voted in as governor if that person died before taking office, if the governor-elect died before taking office. So a lot of people wrote his son's name, Herman Talmadge, in the ballot box for that purpose in hopes that his son would then become governor. Unfortunately, the Georgia Constitution actually states that if the governor dies, the lieutenant governor is the one who takes his place. Now, if you guys remember back to our government portion of our learning, the lieutenant governor is elected separately from the governor, so they don't run on the same party ticket like a president and vice president. They are elected separately. So the guy who was elected lieutenant governor was Melvin Thompson, and he was actually anti-Talmadge. So this would not be ideal for the people who voted for Talmadge, for Thompson to take office. But nonetheless, in January of 1947, the General Assembly decided Herman Talmadge, he's going to be governor. Well, insert Ellis Arnold here, who was the outgoing governor. He was like, no. I'm not leaving until you finish sorting this out and resolving the issue. He didn't think that the General Assembly had the authority to select the governor, so he decided that he was just going to stay in office. And of course, Arnold was not in line with the beliefs that the Talmadge people, he was very anti-Talmadge. So physical altercations actually resulted with some of Talmadge's followers because of this. And eventually, Herman Talmadge had state troopers escort Ellis Arnold out of the state capitol and change the locks on the governor's office. So the Georgia General Assembly said, Herman Talmadge is now our governor. Ellis Arnold was like, I'm not leaving, whatever. And so Talmadge gets Ellis Arnold escorted out by cops, changes the locks, and Arnold's like, whatever, that's not going to stop me. And so he sets up a second governor's office in the front lobby of the state capitol. I kid you not. This is real. This is real. Real story. So that man was not playing. He was not leaving that governor's office. All right, so here's a picture of Arnold refusing to leave the governor's office. I am not leaving, no. All right, so eventually Arnold's like, you know what, you're right. This is not even worth it. He gives up his claim to the governorship, but he decides that he's going to support Thompson. This case, like situation story, makes it all the way to the Georgia Supreme Court. And they ruled that Thompson was actually the rightful governor and that Talmadge had to leave the governor's office. And of course he did within 2 hours of the ruling. He was like, you know what, okay, whatever, I'm gone. And then a special election was held in 1948, and then Herman Talmadge defeated Thompson and became governor anyway. So yeah. That is the story of the three governors controversy. Pretty wild. All right, here's a picture of Melvin Thompson meeting with reporters. Talmadge leaving the office after the controversy. All right, the white primary. This is another black spot on Georgia's history. So the white primary was basically used to keep African Americans from voting in the Democratic primary election. Due to the fact that Georgia was actually a one-party state at this time, the Democratic primary was essentially the election, and keeping African Americans from voting in that election meant that they really couldn't vote at all. So in 1944, several black men led by Dr. Thomas Brewer and Primus E. King, a barber and a minister, attempted to go and participate in the white primary in Columbus, Georgia. There are some pictures for you. Now, King was told that he could not vote and was forcibly removed from the courthouse. So he was like, this is wild, okay? And in 1945, Brewer, King, and several other African Americans decided to sue the state in a court case known as King versus Chapman. And the federal district court actually ruled in favor of King and said that the white primary was unconstitutional. And so after that, the white primary eventually ended. Ellis Arnold didn't fight the ruling, but unfortunately, Eugene Talmadge, before his death, he ran on the platform saying that he was going to reinstate the white primary. Obviously, he died, and then we had the three governors controversy, but the white primary never came back. But this is just another example of disenfranchisement, all right, if you can remember that term. Disenfranchisement is keeping African Americans from voting. And like I said, just another dark spot on Georgia's history. So I hope that you enjoyed that crazy story about the three governors controversy. You guys have another assignment in your learning pathway today, and I can't wait to see you guys again tomorrow. Bye. Have a good one.